Hey, how's it going? Kenny here and welcome back to another tactic testing video. And up in today's video, I'll be testing the tactic 5-2-2-1 masterpiece, the second. As you can see here, as it already says, it's 5 at the back system. I actually quite like the look of this tactic. It looks like it has quite a good balance to it. You've got 3 ball playing defenders in there, 1 on cover. You've got 4 players just ahead of them as well, 2 wing backs on support, a ball midfielder on defending there, and a deep line playmaker on support. You've got 2 shadow strikers and a pressing forward as well. Also, the mentality is balanced. So I'm liking the look of the balance of the tactic, first of all. You know, the 3 at the back system, not going with an attacking mentality, just a balanced one in here. So, yeah, I like the look of the balance of the tactic here. In possession, you've got many instructions here. Shorter passing, passing to space. Focus play down the left and right, overlap left and right as well. In transition, it's what we usually see. Roll it out, distribute quickly, counter and counter press. Out of possession as well. You've got a much higher defensive line, high press, trigger press much more often as well. So yeah, it's a tactic that's very similar to a lot of the other ones I've tested here on the channel. But I do like the look of the outlook of the team, the style of formation, also the balanced mentality. I like the look of that as well. Also, usually in my tactic testing videos, I pick 3 random Premier League clubs to test the tactic with. I've decided to do things a little bit different in this video here today. I thought, you know what, to try and get the most varied results I can, I decided, why not just test it out with every single Premier League club. So that is what I've done in today's video. I'm just not going to talk about the tactics so much, to talk about the results from the teams. We're just going to see where they finish, how they do in the cup competition, etc. like that, and effectively see how the tactic is with every single Premier League club. I forgot to mention this already, but some of you will know if you watched the videos in the past. I am not the creator of these tactics. The link to the creator of this tactic is down there in the description below if you want to check it out. I am just here merely testing the tactics. Well, I'm going to go through in alphabetical order. Of course, Arsenal are first off. Let's see how they get on. I think it's important to remember with this the video here today is not where the teams have finished in real life. It's about where they're predicted to finish at the start of FootballManager as well, because Arsenal finished 3rd in the league, which of course is lower than their league position in real life. They finished 2nd in real life, and of course had a great title challenge from Man City until they capitulated towards the end there. But 3rd in the league of Arsenal, they're predicted to finish 6th, I believe, at the start of FootballManager here, 6th or 5th, and they finished 3rd in the league here with 82 points, only 3 points off Man City in 2nd place, and 12 points off Liverpool in 1st place. So although it's not incredible results here for Arsenal in the league, it's very good, I'd say. 3rd in the league, Champions League football, happy days. In the Europa League, they got knocked down around of 16, so not great there. The FA Cup knocked down in the quarter-final by Leicester, and the Carabao Cup knocked down in 4th round by Bournemouth. So, yeah, not the greatest of seasons for Arsenal, but I'd say it's a solid season. No silverware, unfortunately, but Champions League football back for Arsenal. Got to the quarter-final of the FA Cup as well. So, all in all, pretty decent. Anyway, let's check out the next team in the list then. Let's check out Aston Villa. So, Aston Villa next on the list, and they've had a blinder of a season. Look at this. They've finished up in 4th place, qualifying for Champions League football for next season. Absolutely brilliant for Villa, that. Only 2 points off Arsenal in 3rd as well. Only just got in the Champions League places, by the way. 1 point clear of Man United, although saying that, they did lose their final game of the season, so maybe it's more tight than it may seem. But 4th place for Villa, you know, they're a solid mid-table club. Of course, they've done better than that in real life, chasing down the Europa League place or Europa Conference League place, I think now. But 4th in the league, got to be very happy with that. I think they're predicted to finish about 10th or 11th. So, yeah, brilliant season from Aston Villa there in the Prem. Also, the FA Cup, they got to the final of the FA Cup. Unfortunately, lost the final, but also a cup final as well for Villa and Champions League football. What a season that is for them. The Carabao Cup knocked down the 3rd round by Brighton, but already at the start of the video here, Arsenal had a solid season. Nothing sensational, but Aston Villa definitely with a sensational season. Let's check out the next team in the list then. Let's check out Bournemouth. So the first team in the list here that are supposed to be battling relegation, Bournemouth, I'm pretty sure they are finished bottom of the league at the start of the season here, and they've done really, really well. Finished up in 12th place. I think it's worth mentioning that Gary O'Neill for Bournemouth in real life has done a sensational job, because no one gave them a chance in hell of staying up this season. But hearing from Andrew as well, 12th in the league, you know, far clear of the relegation zone. 12 points clear of the relegation zone there, Bournemouth. So, although it doesn't look sensational, you know, 12th in the league, we're talking about Bournemouth here, almost finishing in the top half of the table. Pretty brilliant, actually. Brilliant season for them. Looked like a great end to the season as well. Looks like they was down there. They were 17th in the league for a long time, but Look at the league positions here. I don't think they was ever in the relegation zone, so that is great. In terms of the cup competitions, nothing to shout about for Bournemouth. Knocked down the third round of both, but 12th in the league for Bournemouth. Miles clear the relegation zone. Got to be happy with that. Before we get started with the results for Brentford, guys, please remember that if you do like this video, hit that like button for me. I always say it's very, very important for the video success. And also, if you're new around here and you want to see more of these videos, do hit that subscribe button as well. It'd really help me out as well. So let's get started with Brentford's results then. Where did they finish in the league? They finished 8th in the league. So, again, this is what I mentioned at the start of the video here. It's best to remember where they predicted to finish at the start of the FootballManager season here, not where they finished in real life. Because Brentford, I think they actually might be able to qualify in the Europa Conference League, actually, in the final game of the season. Of course, this video is released on Sunday. The last Premier League game of the season will be on Sunday. But I cannot predict the future, so I don't know what the results are going to be yet. But Brentford may well finish in 8th place. I think it's highly likely they will finish in 8th place. They only just finished out of the top 7 by goal difference as well, which is devastating. Only 4 points off Newcastle in 5th place. But as I said, Brentford are, I think they're in one of the favourites for a relegation battle at the start of FootballManager, which is a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, 8th in the league for Brentford. Got to be happy with that. So far, so good with this tactics. It's working really well. In terms of the cup competitions, though, nothing to shout about. Knocked down the third round by Palace. Knocked down the second round by Coventry. So no one's won a piece of silverware yet, which is disappointing, although Aston Villa have had a sensational season so far. 4th in the league and the FA Cup final. Let's check out Brighton then. What will they do? At the end of the video here today as well, I'll be picking out the team I think has had the most successful season. I think it's safe to say the team who is by far out in first place in terms of that regard is Aston Villa so far. 4th in the league and a FA Cup final. Brilliant. Brighton, on the other hand, finished 7th in the league. And yeah, as I said, Brighton are going to finish 6th in the league, I believe. Maybe 5th. Can they finish 5th? I'm not entirely sure. I know they're playing Europa League football next season. But 7th in the league and a start for manager for Brighton is another great season, that is for sure. Just finished out of the top 6 as well. And unfortunately, they haven't qualified for a European competition because Aston Villa must have won the Carabao Cup. So that's really disappointing. But 7th in the league of Brighton, this tactic is working really, really well. In terms of the cup competitions, also had quite a decent run as well. They got to the quarter-final of the FA Cup and the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup as well. So yeah, Brighton, nothing sensational, but a solid season. Well, next in the video here is Chelsea, who had an absolutely horrendous season in real life. They're pretty much just a joke club at the moment, aren't they? Everyone knows they're going to bounce back at some point. We all know that. But this season has been rather funny, it has to be said. So I don't think it's going to be hard to beat Chelsea's season in real life. I think they're going to finish 12th in the league or maybe even 13th. I'm not sure. All I know is that it's just absolutely horrendous. But anyway, let's check out the results here. Where did they finish? Well, I think it has to be said that this has probably been the worst season so far for any of the clubs. 5th in the league for Chelsea. Obviously, it's a lot better than what they've done in real life, but as I keep saying, let's not base it on the real life positions. 3 points off Arsenal and Man United in 3rd and 4th place there, but ultimately, it can't be accepted, can it? If Chelsea have to secure a top 4 finish almost, well, every single season, basically. They've got to be playing Champions League football. So 5th in the league, although it's not completely and utterly disastrous like real life, it's definitely not good. And I'm pretty sure I'd be sacked from my job here from manager if I wasn't unsackable. Of course, for the sake of these videos here, I become unsackable. Otherwise, it's pretty pointless, isn't it? And yeah, just a terrible season from Chelsea. 5th in the league, not as bad as real life, but clearly nowhere near good enough. That is the first one that's been a failure, really. Let's check out the other competitions, though. Champions League, they got to the quarter-final, so not amazing, but still decent. And the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup knocked down the 3rd round in each. So yeah, I don't think that's quite met the requirements for what Chelsea desire and what they expect, to tell you the truth. So yeah, the first job I think I'd get sacked would be the Chelsea job here. Let's check out the next team then. Let's check out Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are one of those teams that never seem to do much. They just never seem to be close to a relegation battle, and they never seem to be close enough to a European place. They are the ultimate mid-table club, which I guess you could say is probably a good thing. Here on FootballManager, though, they've had a good season. Had a very good season. 10th in the league, securing a top half finish of Palace. I think that's a very good season for them. Again, nothing sensational. And when you take into consideration, there's only 2 points clear of Leicester in 13th place. Not amazing, but definitely a solid season. Way clear of the relegation zone. And also only 6 points off 7th place Bournemouth as well. So yeah, pretty good season for Palace. That definitely acceptable. In the cup competitions, nothing to talk about really. Knocked down the 5th round of the FA Cup. Knocked out in the 4th round by Fulham. Let's check out the next team then. Let's check out Everton. If you're wondering what's going on with these simulations here as well, of course, I've gone on holiday for the season for every club and selected use current match tactics and also made myself unsackable. Normally I do more than that. I set up the training. I also set up some staff responsibilities as well, stuff like that. But I thought for the sake of this video, let's just get things done quickly. Let's just set up the tactic. Let's set up the set pieces as well. Go on holiday. Let's see what happens. Everton, not the greatest of seasons, but also not terrible. 14th in the league for them. I think it's safe to say Everton are a mid-table club at best these days. Obviously, they might get relegated tomorrow or today. So, yeah, we shall see about that. They should stay up, really, at home to Bournemouth. But by the end of the day, they might have already been relegated to the Championship. So, yeah, interesting stuff. But 14th in the league, 9 points clear the relegation zone. Way far off the top 7. Nothing sensational, just about met the requirements in the league, I'd say. So nothing to talk about really for Everton there. And I think it's safe to say Aston Villa are just way out in front at the moment for the most successful team with this tactic. In terms of the cup competitions though, well, Everton have had quite a good run in the cup competition. So with all that taken into regard, I think it's been quite a good season for Everton, really. Knocked down the quarter-final by West Ham in the FA Cup and knocked out by fierce rivals Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final as well. So 14th, clear relegation zone. Good runs in the both cup competitions. I've heard of worse seasons than that for Everton. Anyway, let's check out the next team. Let's check out Fulham. Well, Fulham are another one of those teams that have massively exceeded expectations this season, securing a top half finish when they are one of the favourites to be relegated. Unfortunately, here in FootballManager, they haven't quite done as well as they've done in real life. But to tell you the truth, if you would say Fulham, you finished 17th in the league at the end of the real season in real life, I don't think too many Fulham fans would complain. They secure safety from relegation, but the way it looks like in real life, the way it's happened here in FootballManager, it doesn't look very good, does it? 17th in the league, they've secured, you know, that's probably the requirement, isn't it, to avoid relegation, and that has been achieved with this tactic. So I guess it's not all doom and gloom, but nothing really to shout about. I think they'll rival Chelsea for the worst season here so far with the tactic. I'd argue the case that Chelsea is worse because Chelsea are expected to finish in the top 4 and Fulham's expectations is to avoid relegation. So in that regard, Fulham have had a better season than that, although it does look pretty terrible, 17th in the league. So nothing to shout about there. They got to the FA Cup semi-final though, which is nice. Knocked out by Brighton. They got to the Carabao Cup third round as well. Anyway, next team in the list is Leeds. Well, it seems like, barring some sort of crazy result, it looks like Leeds are doomed for the Championship, to tell you the truth. I can't see how they're not going to get relegated. Here, though, in FootballManager, they've had an absolute blinder of a season. Look at this. Leeds finishing in 5th place. Oh, my word. Only a point behind Tottenham in 4th place as well. They lost the final game of the season, so they would have won that game. We'll be talking about Leeds in the Champions League places. Even though they drew that game, they'll be in the Champions League places. 68 points, though, from Leeds. A team who looks like they're going to get relegated today. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. What is better, though? Villa finishing 4th or Leeds finishing 5th? You know what? It's a very tough call, that. It's a very tough call. In terms of the cup competitions, Leeds knocked down the third round by West Ham and knocked down the second round by Fulham in the Carabao Cup. So with that taken into consideration here, I think Villa are still the team who's had the best overall season because they got to the FA Cup final and finished in 4th place. Leeds in 5th place, though, that is a very, very close second in my opinion. Brilliant season from them. Completely exceeded expectations and, yeah, way clear the relegation zone and only a point away from qualifying for the Champions League. But still, European football next season for them. Europa League football, I'm sure most of the fans would take that right now. So, yeah, all in all, brilliant season from Leeds. But for me, Aston Villa are still on top with the best season so far. Let's check out the next team then. Another team that looks like are destined for relegation. Let's check out Leicester. Yeah, Leicester had an absolutely terrible season in real life. Absolutely shambolic, the fact that they're getting relegated with that squad of players they got. Well, they're not relegated yet, and they certainly can still believe if Everton drop points out of Bournemouth, Leicester win, then they could stay up, couldn't they? But, yeah, to me, I can't see how Leicester... They don't deserve to stay up, do they? They don't deserve to stay up. The way they've been this season has been absolutely horrendous. And as I said, with that squad of players, Tielemans, Maddison, Jamie Vardy, all the other rest of them, to get relegated is just shambolic. But here for manager, they've stayed way clear of the relegation zone. But it has to be said, it's still rather disappointing. Leicester, you should be securing a top 10 finish with Leicester. So 11th in the league, although it's not terrible and it's obviously way clear of the disaster they had in real life. But anyway, look at this league positions, by the way. What happened here? Look like a great start to the season. They were in the top 4 for about 20 game weeks of the season. They just fell off a cliff, it seems. So, yeah, the first half of the season looked like it was brilliant for Leicester. The second half of the season was absolutely terrible. But still, 11th in the league, 14 points clear of the relegation zone. A mile better than real life, but still, definitely nowhere near good enough in terms of a manager. So they've been put in a failure group by me, along with Chelsea and Fulham. You know what? Fulham don't deserve to be in the failure group, not by Football Manager standards anyway. Chelsea and Leicester, though, have definitely failed a bit. FA Cup knocked down the 5th round, and the Carabao Cup knocked down the 2nd round. So, yeah, pretty poor season from Leicester, that. Anyway, up next, we've got a couple of big boys coming up. We've got Liverpool up next, and then Man City. Well, of course, Liverpool have not had a great season in real life at all, finishing in 5th in the league, I think it is, and obviously missing out on Champions League football. Had a brilliant end to the season, though, but 5th for Liverpool, clearly nowhere near good enough. Unfortunately, they couldn't win the league. They finished 8 points behind Man United, who finished 1st place. They had a great goal difference, though. Plus 68 goal difference is quite insane. How are you not winning the league with that sort of goal difference? I have no idea. But the first piece of silverware in the video here, they've won the Champions League. And who did they beat in the final? Who else? Real Madrid, of course. They beat Real Madrid after extra time in the Champions League final, so that is brilliant. The FA Cup knocked down the 3rd round by Fulham. They also won the Carabao Cup as well, which is great. And they won the Community Shield as well. I don't think you can count the Community Shield as a real trophy. I don't think anyone counts as a real trophy. But Liverpool finishing off with a double, a Champions League and a Carabao Cup double. So that is certainly a great season in my opinion. 2nd in the league. Liverpool obviously very strong in Football Manager and should be in real life as well. But the Champions League and the Carabao Cup, I think that makes it a good season for Liverpool. That. So yeah, pretty good. Our first pieces of silverware as well. Will the next team win silverware though? Man City. Well, unfortunately, we're still waiting for that team, the first team to win the league title. Liverpool nor Man City could do it, obviously, or Arsenal or Chelsea as well. Man City finished 2nd in the league. They were closer than Liverpool were. They were only 2 points behind Liverpool in the end, and also they lost their penultimate game of the season. So, how crucial must that have been? 87 points. It's not exactly a bad points tally, is it? But Man City, you'd expect them to get 90 points plus. So, little bit disappointing there, it has to be said. Champions League as well, knocked out in the quarter-final by AC Milan. Terrible. Terrible that. FA Cup knocked down the quarter-final by Liverpool as well. They did win silverware though. They won the Carabao Cup and they were runner-up in the Community Shield as well. But, you know, 2nd in the league for Man City, quarter-final of the Champions League and a Carabao Cup trophy. I think it's a failure. I think it's a failure for Man City. They joined Chelsea and Leicester in the failure group, unfortunately. Obviously, it's not completely disastrous. 2nd in the league. They won a piece of silverware, the Carabao Cup, but for the high standards Man City have, they look like they're going to go on to win the treble in real life. It's clearly nowhere near good enough. But anyway, let's check out the other side of Manchester now. Let's check out Man United. Well, we finally have our first team who have won the Premier League, and that is Man United. I can't see him win the league title anytime soon in real life, to be honest, but I do see him win the league title quite a lot in Football Manager, which is a little bit ridiculous. But anyway, it's Man United, arguably the biggest club in English football history, so 84 points for them, though, only though. So, yeah, Liverpool and Man City would both have won the league title with their points tallies in this simulation here. So that is a little bit interesting, but at the end of the day, they won the league title. They beat Liverpool and Man City to the league title. 6 points clear at the top as well. So obviously a great season for Man United. No one's expecting them to win the league title, so that is brilliant. The Europa League knocked down in the round of 16 by Lazio. The FA Cup knocked down the 5th round by Newcastle, but they also won the Carabao Cup as well. They won the double. They won the league title and the Carabao Cup. So does that mean they overtake Aston Villa as the best season? You know, I think it has to. They won the league title when they're not expected to, and they won the Carabao Cup as well. 2 trophies for Man United. They won the Carabao Cup in real life as well, of course. Aston Villa are very, very, very close second, though. 4th in the league and FA Cup runner-up. If they would have turned that runner-up into the FA Cup win, then I think it's safe to say Aston Villa would still be the best team of the video here. But I have to hand it over to Man United now. They've won a double, which no one expected them to do. So, yeah, great from them. Anyway, let's check out the next team in the list. Another big boy. Let's check out Newcastle. Well, Newcastle had an unbelievable season in real life, finishing 4th in the league and securing Champions League football as well. Here in Football Manager, though, they have been absolutely horrendous. Horrendous with this tactic. And, yeah, they are by far the worst team from the tactic testing video here today. 14th in the league for Newcastle. That is just way below where they should be finishing. even at the start of the season predictions, Newcastle, you had to fancy them to at least get a top 10 finish. So to finish 14th in the league, 45 points, it's pretty disastrous to tell you the truth. Horrendous season from Newcastle. Really, really poor. And as I said, definitely the worst season of any club so far here in these videos. Runner-up in the FA Cup, so they got to the FA Cup final. If they won the FA Cup, it would have made it a whole better season for them. How many years has it been since they won a trophy? So like 50 years or something stupid. If they would have won the FA Cup, then that would have made it a whole lot better. But even an FA Cup final can't make up for that shambolic league standing there, can it? Knocked down the quarterfinal of Man City as well in the Carabao Cup. So yeah, Newcastle, really, really disappointing. Expecting a lot better from them. Anyway, let's check out the next team in the list. Let's check out Nottingham Forest. Well, no one's been relegated yet, which is absolutely brilliant. Have Forest been relegated? No, they haven't. They stayed up by the skin of their teeth. 1 point clear of Everton, 37 points. They've stayed up in real life as well, Forest. Steve Cooper's done a great job there. And effectively, I've done a great job here, even though I've not done anything really. Only 1 point clear of the relegation zone. Looked like they had a terrible end to the season as well. Looked like they was just stumbled over the finishing line. But all in all, they've done what they set out to do. That is to avoid relegation. So great from them. That's 17th. FA Cup knocked down in the 4th round by Sheffield United. And the Carabao Cup knocked out in the 2nd round by Newcastle. But yeah, all in all, good season from Nottingham Forest. Stayed up in the league. They can build on that for the next season. So yeah, happy with that result for them. Let's check out the next team in the list then. Let's check out Southampton. Well, Southampton have been the worst team in the league in real life. Of course, they finished bottom of the league. And I think we've known they're getting relegated for a long time now. So they've been terrible in real life. Been a bit better here for manager though. 15th in the league, 45 points, and hold on a second, plus 12 goal difference. Have you ever seen a team finish 15th in the league with a plus 12 goal difference, excluding points deductions, of course? That's just ridiculous. Plus 12 goal difference, mental. They're actually quite far clear of the relegation zone as well. 13 points clear of the relegation zone, so firmly safe from relegation. There's only 3 points behind Leeds in 10th place as well, so all in all, it's quite a good season for Southampton. You're probably wondering how did they get to plus 12 goal difference, but I think the fact that they've drawn 18 out of 38 games this season certainly has something to do with it. So, crazy amount of draws for Southampton that, and a crazy goal difference as well. Plus 12 goal difference, 15th in the league is just mental. Never seen anything like that before, but only 9 wins is disappointing, of course, but all in all, you've got to take it really, haven't you? They're way clear of the relegation zone, nothing sensational again, but definitely a good outcome for them. The FA Cup knocked down the 3rd round by Wycombe, so that's not great, is it? And the Carabao Cup knocked down the 4th round by Brighton. But all in all, certainly something to build on. And it looks like defensively, they've done a really, really good job. Anyway, only 3 teams left to go. And only one so-called big team left to go as well. And that is Tottenham. Tottenham are another one who's had a shocking season in real life. They really have been absolutely horrendous since Antonio Conte left. And they never seem to do well for me in any tactic testing video, and I never see them do well in FootballManager, and they haven't done well again. 9th in the league for Tottenham. I think that's even worse in real life. So yeah, absolutely shambolic. Plus 18 goal difference. Well, there's only 1 point behind Brentford in 7th place, and there's only 5 points behind Newcastle in 5th place. So I guess you could say it's very, very tight. But ultimately, the league does not lie, does it? And they finished in 9th in the league, which is clearly nowhere near good enough. Of course, Newcastle have still had the worst season in my opinion. 14th is just embarrassing. Champions League knocked down the round of 16, but by Real Madrid, so we can forgive them for that. The FA Cup knocked down the quarter-final by Everton, and the Carabao Cup knocked down the semi-final by Man City. So they got quite far in most of the competitions here, but ultimately they haven't reached the final. They haven't done anything significant. 9th in the league. Big failure. Anyway, only 2 teams left to go. Let's check out the penultimate team. Let's check out West Ham. Well, West Ham in real life, of course, haven't been great. Just about got through a relegation battle in the last 5 games or so. They got clear of it. But the Europa Conference League, of course, they got to the final in real life, and they might go on to win it. I think they're playing Fiorentina, if I'm not mistaken. Here in FootballManager, though, they have won the Europa Conference League. Of course, it's not the biggest thing to shout about, because no offence to the teams participating in it, but obviously they're not the greatest of teams in the Europa Conference League. I'd kind of expect West Ham to win it. I think they've got a tricky game, though, against Fiorentina in the final. So, at the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you, can't you? So, they won the Europa Conference League, which is great. Finished 10th in the league as well, so a top 10 finish for West Ham. And a European trophy. Ecstatic with that. FA Cup quarter-final as well. And a Carabao Cup semi-final. So, although the league position is not amazing for West Ham, 10th in the league, though, a top 10 finish. Europa Conference League trophy. And a semi-final and a quarter-final of the cup competition. Great season for West Ham. Anyway, final team coming up next. Last but not least, let's check out Wolves. Well, Wolves are the final team in the list here, and unfortunately, they've been a little bit disappointing as well. 15th in the league for Wolves, about where they're going to finish in real life, I think. 13th, 14th, 15th, something like that. They should be doing a little bit better though, really, shouldn't they, with their squad of players? They should be aiming for a top 10 finish. So 15th in the league, underwhelming. Only 3 points clear of relegation zone as well. So yeah, disappointing from Wolves that. And the FA Cup knocked down the 4th round and knocked down the 2nd round of the Carabao Cup. So definitely a bit of a season to forget for Wolves. Nothing sensational, but also not completely disastrous. Didn't get relegated, of course. 15th in the league, mid-table finish. But yeah, nothing to shout about at all. So that is the end of all the teams, guys. Now I need to pick who is the best team of the video here. It's a very tight call, to be honest. Top 3 has got to be Leeds, Man United and Aston Villa, of course. But I think I'm going to give it to Man United. Also, Liverpool deserve a mention as well, of course. They won the double win in the Champions League and the Carabao Cup as well. But I think Man United, I think they've exceeded expectations, much more than Liverpool, of course. They won the Premier League over Liverpool, Man City, which is sensational. And they also won the Carabao Cup as well. So brilliant from them. Marcus Rashford, top goal scorer for them with 32 goals in the league. He also got 6 in the Europa League as well. So yeah, all in all, I've been very happy with this video, actually. I think it's been very successful. Obviously, a few teams have failed. I think that gives it a more variety of results as well, which is great. But all in all, I think the tactic's gone quite well. I wouldn't quite give it a 10 out of 10. But I think I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10, this tactic. I think it's done really, really well. And a lot of teams have exceeded expectations. As I said, Aston Villa and Leeds, sensational. Aston Villa 4th in the league and FA Cup runner-up. Leeds finished 5th in the league as well. Liverpool won a double with it. Man United won a double as well. So obviously some teams let it down. Mainly Newcastle, Chelsea. Leicester were disappointing as well. Fulham. But no team got relegated. No team got relegated, which is fantastic. Only one team won the league title, though. And that is Man United. So they have to go down as the best team with this tactic. And that is the end of the video, guys. Please remember, as I said, if you do like the video, hit that like button for me. It really helps the video success. And also, if you want to see more videos like this, do hit that subscribe button as well. It really helped me out. And much appreciated as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.